The views and opinions expressed by the host.
Is my body in vain? Is my passion
So we're gonna come in, just tell me, just wait for Jordan to come in. We first off, we're gonna kick it off with some music from her sister, Cassie.
is my trouble in vain? No, of course not. It's not all in vain. 'Cause after all, let it be fine. Lady Lux, Lady Lux, definitely know where it at. Lady Lux, definitely know where it at. Hopping out the bed, right? Gotta get my tummy tight. I'm gonna get my body wrapped today. That means you going right. Let's stand block to the group home. See what them boys on. Looking after them and making them feel like who? Mike Jones, Mike Jones, Mike Jones, Mike Jones. 4 days and 3 nights. Lux, get your flight right. Tune in to Biz 1, 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. Fashion talk, let's not forget where you get your fashion pick. Latest fashion in the mix. Yeah, you know it's gonna be lit. Ow. 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 Lady Lux. Lady Lux. Lady Lux. Lady Lux. Ow. Lady Lux. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Lady Devine, at Busy One Radio with the Lady Devine Show. How y'all been this week? Weather was warm, and then all of a sudden today we're freezing. Boo! What the heck? This is crazy. I mean, it's almost March though, so we had a little bit of snow, but not much, so I can't complain. But don't let it start snowing in April, because you know it does that. So today we have on the show Jourden Cobb, and it's a very sensitive subject that we're going to talk about: the death of her brother, and it's deep for the whole Busy One family, you know. So we're gonna try to get through this. Shouts out to Paris. I know he's up there smiling and knowing that we're doing everything that he wanted to do. So the dream is still alive, you know. I do want to tell y'all that March Madness, we're doing a special at Busy One. Any body that have any music videos, movies, any kind of content, books, we are letting you upload your content for $5.99. That's a subscription to the Lady Devine Show. And what you'll do is you'll get 20 cents off of each subscriber that subscribes under you with your music or your movies or any content that you have. So this is a special for March. So get on it. Make sure y'all call me. I could be reached at 513-480-9200, or you can email me at divineluxclothing@gmail.com. That's DEVINE clothing@gmail.com. So I want to throw that out. Also, we got coming up. So I have a smoke shop, Divine Essential Smoke Shop, and as you all know, those smokers 420 is coming up. So we are in a organization called Canaglow, where you're able to have your own online stores with your we have all kind of things. We have edibles. We have flour with the THC in it to cook your chicken. We have mushrooms. We have tons of stuff. So check it out, divineessentials.com. But you can get into this business as well and have your own cannabis store for under $500. No lie. And you get $300 worth of products. So If you're interested in that, please make sure you reach out to me for 513-480-9200 or Divine Nuts Clothing at gmail.com. So, I want to talk about some current events that happened over the last couple of weeks. So, they have arrested some of the teenagers that were downtown and fighting another student. So happy that happened. Maybe they will get it together, because this is no place for violence and youth violence. Stop it. What's going on? It's nothing that hard. Our parents made it easy for us. You know what I mean? And so it's up to you to do all you can to be what you can. And you got the perfect opportunity. It's free education out there. Get in those books and stop getting on that internet and stop getting on those games and think about positive things, because this world is coming. It's bad out here. But while we wait on Jourden, we're gonna hear her sister Kiana do her what song is that?
That's that ooh wee.
Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Yeah, we're gonna do ooh wee. How about that? Pretty Money Records in the house. It's like ooh wee. So I'm an A&R for Pretty Money Records. So shouts out to Kiana and Jassine, who are under me, and I wish them well. Yeah.
It's like, ooh, can't take for granted for what you do for me. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body. What I say is what I do for real. The love we have, the love we make. The only thing that I'm wanting, I'm needing. It's the only thing that I'm feeling. I've been holding it back, like the way that I feel. I don't know what is the deal. Gotta keep it real. Have conversations about if we should build. Maybe watch us a movie, calling Netflix and chill. Our goals so quiet. It's you and me.
Put on that busy one television.
We can be under the stars. We share our dreams.
I'm gonna go ahead and have Justin queued up next and work with Jourden.
Nope, she said 6 minutes.
Gotcha. Right.
I'm like, ooh, you got my heart. It's like, ooh, can't take for granted for what you do for me. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body. Have you ever had somebody? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ooh, I found the one. I'm like, ooh, you got my heart. It's like, ooh, can't take for granted for what you do for me. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body. Have you ever had somebody only want your body now? Tell me that you're somebody. Only want my body.
Right.
Yeah, that's that one way, that love music. Y'all know nothing about that. Y'all too young. right? Yeah. No, no. So we got my girl Jazzy coming up. Y'all hear that? Oh, what artist? What?
Think I can bend this booty over, I do yoga. Boy, you spamming on my page, who's a troller? Can you nail me to the wall like I'm a poster? You can't please me, I'ma act like I don't know ya. I do coffee in the morning, ain't no vulture. Drink it down real quick like you a soda. You be speeding to this pussy, bending corner. Put the thing up in my stomach, made me go out. Rolling all around the world, can you save me from this big problem? Really trying to solve it. Rolling all around the world, can you save me from this big problem? I'm really trying to solve it. Give me up, take me down, treat it like a good book. Baby wild, ain't a player, feel like a person. Lock around, but up again, see me creamy like a loose. Push it in, I take it out, all of this broke a tush.
I was like, it's so much traffic. I was on the way for like 50 minutes.
Think I can bend this booty over, I do yoga. Boy, you spamming on my page, who's a troller? Can you nail me to the wall like I'm a poster? You can't please me, I'ma act like I don't know ya. I do coffee in the morning, ain't no vulture. Drink it down real quick like you a soda. You be speeding to this pussy, bending corner.
Ooh,
Put the thing up in my
it's about
stomach,
7:15,
made me
so
go
that'll be
out.
the time. That'll be the time to welcome because it's about 7:15.
Really trying to solve it. Rolling all around the world, can you save me from this big problem? Really trying to solve it.
What kind of was you trying to?
Hey, what's up? It is going anyway. I'm like, am I tripping? When I turned my head this way, I was just looking that way. I'm like, oh no.
Think I can bend this booty over, I do yoga. Boy, you spamming on my page, who's a troller? Can you nail me to the wall like I'm a poster? You can't please me, I'ma act like I don't know ya. I do coffee in the morning, ain't no vulture. Drink it down real quick like you a soda. You be speeding to this pussy, bending corner. Put the thing up in my stomach, made me go out. Rolling all around the world, can you save me from this big problem? Really trying to solve it. Rolling all around the world, can you save me from this big problem? I'm really trying to solve it.
Are you back?
Hey, y'all. We're back at Busy One Radio on the Lady Devine Show. And our guest has showed up, Miss Jourden Cobb.
Hey.
But we're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to be right back.
Welcome to Kalima's Digital Practice, where we provide internal and external holistic healthcare and hair loss solutions for the entire family. Did you know that hair loss and other symptoms are often a result of poor nutrition and diet? When hair loss does occur, it gives the provider a clue to begin to figure out what may or may not be going on inside the body. As an iridologist, I've been uniquely trained to interpret the markings and patterns of your left and right iris. These unique patterns provide me with information about what's going on inside your body, which I in turn share with you immediately in a detailed professional report.
Hey, y'all, we are back again. Thank you for tuning in to the Lady Devine Show. I really, really appreciate all of you. And thank you for tuning in to Busy One Radio and television. How about that? So we got Miss Jourden Cobb. Jourden, that Cobb sounds familiar. Who are you, Jourden?
So I am Jourden Cobb, as you stated, and my dad is actually Barry Cobb, which is the CEO of Busy One Entertainment Radio too.
Yes. And George, so tell us about you. Tell us about you.
Well, I am currently a PhD student at Jourden University studying criminal justice with a minor focus in political science. I am aspiring to be an attorney, an entertainment attorney specifically, / judge after 5 years. And I do help out around the community a lot. And I just really, I don't know, like it's been pulling on my heartstrings right now to just talk and share my testimony with people, other people that could potentially be going through the same thing as me, or even the ones that really don't know about school and what they should do. So I don't know, there's a lot of things pulling on my heartstrings right now, but that's a little bit about me. I'm 23.
23, wow. Beautiful young lady with a mind, with her head on her shoulders. That's wonderful. And tell us a little bit about your high school years, your beginning of your college years with Paris.
Well, I'm the youngest, yeah. I'm the youngest child. Paris was the oldest, so it was like about a 10-year gap. So honestly, like high school, I wasn't really around my brother. I was around him, but like it was more so like a quick thing because he was doing his own thing. I was too young to really hang out with my brother. I wasn't the little girl who get to hang with their big siblings. I had to stay in the house. So it really like me and Paris, it was always like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see my brother. But that didn't really like start being a real thing. Like, oh my gosh, I get to see my brother and hang out with my brother with the grown people until I hit college. Like my freshman year of college is when me and my brother really, really start getting close. So like high school, I was a little bit of a hothead, so my brother, that would be the main time I talk to my brother. He'd tell me, like, sis, it's not worth it, calm down. It was like those little talks and then just seeing him. But, like, my college years is when we start actually developing, like, a real, like, oh, yeah, this is my brother, and I'm going with my brother. I'm seeing my brother. I'm doing this with my brother. So it was real close. So.
And so can you tell us what happened to Paris? And feel free, I know this is a hard topic. If you feel like you can't talk about it, let me know.
No, that's okay. So as far as Paris, he was actually working at BJ's for a little bit over. No, it wasn't even a little bit over a week. It was about a week. BJ's restaurant in Springdale, and he was working with a coworker, minding his business, dishing, cleaning up dishes at the end of the night, where the coworker attacked him from behind, stabbing him to death on several occasions. And at that point, it was kind of like Paris was still alive, but it was some things that just was happening between time. He was bleeding out, heart attack, that kind of thing. And when he got to the hospital, is when he actually like lost his life. So he had been murdered by his coworker, stabbed to death.
And so we know that it took a long time for the ambulance to be called, the ambulance to get there.
Yeah.
The reaction of the people at the head people at BJ's, disappointing. How was this man who is an illegal immigrant, how was he able to work at BJ's? How did they get around that?
See, that's one of like the biggest questions. Like, how did this even happen? It's one of the questions that we all really have. Like, how did this even happen? But apparently he was working there prior, and then he had went on to get fired, and then they hired him back. So it was just with BJ's, it was just a big. They did a lot of things that was not supposed to be happening, that shouldn't have been happening, and they took an innocent life in the process of them being careless.
Wow! And so, what stage are you all in the prosecuting of this young man?
So right now, the main thing that's on the table, which we're trying to fight for, justice for Paris, but it just boils down to the insanity thing, because basically he's trying to plead insanity, and Paris' life was taken. So it's really murder on the table and insanity. So we really are not really sure what's going on with that. It's just more so, it seems like they're leaning more towards the insanity part.
So he I've talked to some people that work there.
Right.
This guy was a drug abuser.
Mm-hmm.
So he took those drugs on his own.
Mm-hmm.
How is that insanity?
Exactly.
He took drugs. He came to work. He had a friend that was befriended him. Mm-hmm. And then you just out of nowhere just started stabbing him for what? What was the reason?
It's kind of crazy, because before Paris got stabbed to death, he actually had called our dad about an hour before, and he was on the phone with our dad, and The guy's brother also worked there. So he was on the phone with our dad, and the guy's brother was also on the phone with Paris and our dad. And Paris was like, I got these Filipinos, they make music, I'm going to bring them in, and this would be good. And they in the back like, oh yeah, we make music. Excuse me, we know how to do drones, da-da-da. Like, they was saying like they was legit. And an hour later, Paris got killed by the guy.
Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
How did this happen? Workplace violence. Have you done any research on workplace violence?
Yes, I actually have. It's actually been one of the things that I've been really looking into, because there definitely needs to be a law in place that to help basically protect others, so this doesn't keep happening to people. Because a lot of times workplace violence, you have these big corporations, they have money, hush money, to sweep it under the rug, and just people just move on with their lives and there's nothing that's done about it. And so like with me, it's just more so looking deeper to see how I could come up with a law and present it and do those things, so that way I can get justice for my brother, but not only for my brother, previous people, and moving forward, that this does not keep happening to people. Like, if you are fired, you should not be able to come back at all.
Right.
And if you have any type of mental illness, and this is like, I take mental illness very seriously, but unfortunately when you do have mental illnesses and these people snap on innocent people, it's like, then what? And it's just like, I feel like there needs to be health evaluations before people start getting jobs. It needs to be a lot of things into place, and not drug abuse. It's like, all of that stuff honestly should be looked into deeper. As far as background screening, it shouldn't even be if you just got caught for something. It needs to be more testing done, so that way this does not keep happening to other people.
That's true. There's a lot of mental illness out there that's not even detected or seen in individuals. I deal with a lot of them, and truly they think that they're all right, and they are truly ill. And what the system does is they try to cover it up with medication. They think that, oh, well, we can medicate this person and he'll go away. They don't worry about their annual checkups, their dentist appointments, their eye appointments. All they have is this number, and they giving these drugs.
Well, people don't understand too about medication that they're giving. It's the side effects. Like the side effects that go along with it. Like, you may give somebody some depressant medications, anxiety medications, but what about the fact that it's actually altering your brain chemicals? And you can go, like, the opposite can happen. You can go even more crazy. You can actually start going crazy, feel like you're really going crazy. And people, that's when suicides start happening, because people are put on these medications, and then it's supposed to help, and then it goes the opposite direction. So.
Yeah, I deal with quite a few gentlemen and women. And basically they have no hope. They said that they're here, they're at our facility to stay, and till they die. And they have no health insurance. They have no family. And it's really a sad thing out here that most of our people are being swept under the rug. And I just can't fathom how did this guy get fired and he come right back to work. I mean, is it that we don't have enough people, American people, to get jobs, that we go get somebody that doesn't even have their green card?
It's actually like, it's crazy, because when they said before he got fired, he was already kind of like weird. And then they said when he came back, he was like really off. And apparently Paris had reported him like on some, he was kind of weird, but it's like kind of like the supervisor didn't pay no attention. Like, it was just like, it was what it was. But because I feel like what it really boiled down to, everybody was in there scared of the guy. They stayed away from him. Paris, my brother, he's focused mind, but he wasn't like, he was just really smiley. Like, we all kind of act like our dad. So it's just kind of like, we all had this like good personality. And I feel like because my brother also had that good personality and wasn't afraid and wasn't like, you know, on some, oh, let me just stay away and acting nervous all the time, I feel like that definitely played a part. Like, I feel like some jealousy came in there too, because it's like, why would you, drugs, all that stuff I understand, but it's like, it really does not make sense. It really does not, because your brother is literally on the phone talking to our dad with Paris, and then literally an hour later, you kill him.
The brother was there, right?
Yes, the brother was there.
And then the mom came.
The mother came, and she actually was the one that flagged police down. because apparently the supervisor just reported it as somebody was bleeding from the neck, no urgency or anything. So it took them about 30 to 45 minutes to show up to BJ's after he was stabbed, and so he was bleeding out.
So where did the mom come from?
I really don't know. I think the brother probably called or somebody. There was some type of communication there because the mother pulled up. The guy was in the back smoking a cigarette, smiling, looking all weird after he stabbed Paris. They trying to help Paris inside. His phone missing, his keys missing. We don't know where none of that stuff is, and it just looks like now was this a setup? Like what was really going on in here that night? And this was not the first stabbing that BJ's has had. Like somebody was stabbed at BJ's 3 months before that happened, but the guy got off. So.
Wow. Illegal practices at the workplace. This is just horrible. So what are some of the things that you're looking to do to get justice for Paris?
So currently, since the criminal part is kind of like, I don't want to say it's kind of out the window, but it's like we kind of know where that's going to go. It's probably going to go to insanity type of thing.
What do we need to do to stop this?
Unfortunately, with the health evaluations that the doctors are doing, it's not really a way to work our hand with the criminal aspect, but we can with the civil. So, it has to go through the criminal, like how O.J. Simpson got on the criminal side, but he got it on the civil side. So it's more so now the criminal part is kind of out of our hands. We're trying to fight it, but it's like, it's really not going nowhere with that. But as far as the civil part, going against BJ is really the biggest thing now. So looking into it, I've been looking into like just quite a few things. Like I started trying to present a law to legislators regarding like workplace violence, but I'm actually looking to start a Paris Dismukes Foundation where we raise money from like selling shirts or Paris merch or anything like that on busyoneentertainment.com to raise money for other children who have lost their parents due to workplace violence.
Yes.
Instead of just letting balloons go like we always like what we did this past year at BJ's. BJ's has been closed down, and it's just we can't even keep letting BJ's get that kind of light. Absolutely not. So I'm organizing a march on Paris Death Day, which is August 11th, and I want everybody to purchase shirts, and that will go towards like attorney costs because it's very costly. Attorney costs, its children, and also starting that foundation like we're raising money for the kids. But it will be a march on August 11th where we're downtown with pictures of Paris, big pictures of him on our T-shirts, things like that, saying his name, saying what happened, passing out flyers, because at the end of the day, you have to bring light back to what happened to him, especially since we're going after such a big corporation. People need to know what happened instead of just like, oh, what's going on here? And it just kind of keep getting swept under the rug. So August 11th, definitely trying to do that. In September, I actually have some things coming up that I haven't really discussed with anyone, but I have joined Crime Services in Safety and Justice. And basically, they go around to tell their testimonies and present things to legislators to potentially have it changed in law. So I will be speaking in September in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And I am currently coming up with a law that has a lot to do with Paris, but very specific. So that way it could possibly be implemented into workbooks when people are getting these jobs. And I want it to be under the Paris Dismukes law. So it's a lot of things that I'm trying to do right now. Of course, with the help of the people around me and support. But it's so much I want to do because I know if the shoe was on the other foot, my brother would definitely have done it for me, if not more.
Yeah. So how many children did Paris have?
5 of them kids.
And what's the ages?
I might seem like a bad auntie. My nephew, Emir, he is 17. He'll be 18 this year. Promise is 10 years old. Peyton is 9 years old. I just found out London was 7 years old. Or she's 8 years old. No, London is 8 years old. And Layla, the baby, she's 3 years old.
Wow.
Them kids, rough.
So she was just born, huh?
Yeah. And she clung to Paris like a lot. Like he would always had her like with him, like holding her, hugging her, but she looks the most to me like Paris.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot for the children to have to go through, losing their dad, and college costs.
Mm-hmm.
It costs for them to live. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that, you know, they had to go through this situation and see their dad in that casket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the memory that they have. You know,
It's definitely
it's
it's rough
heartbreaking.
too, because it's like outside of seeing him on a casket, when you get on the internet, you see it everywhere. So at this point, they're old enough to know what exactly happened to him. Like they have access to the internet, and not saying it's not like that for other people, but it's such a big storyline. Like they can really look up how their dad got killed
Oh wow.
on the internet, and they see their pictures everywhere. They see our pictures everywhere. We're doing interviews like they're not dumb, they're kids, but they know what's going on. Now Layla, she's 3, she's still a kid, but she'll see my phone case or we'll talk, and she'll be like, I miss my dad, like because Paris was so involved in his kid's life. So the guy didn't understand. He was taking a big glue to everything as a sibling, as a dad, as a son. He took a big piece of our family, and it's like now we just here left to pick up the pieces and try to figure it out.
Awesome. We got to take a break.
Yo, big up Cincinnati. This your boy Joe Dapper from Dada Shop World Music Sound, representing for Wet Wednesdays, Ladies Night Reggae, 9 p.m. through midnight, with exclusive poetry and open mic sessions, and the hottest reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeats and R&B in the city. So come hold a vibe at the Cali Bar and Grill, 1227 California Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio. Come catch me there. Boom.
Hey, y'all.
We're back. Thank you guys again for tuning into the Lady Devine Show on Busy One Radio and television. And we have here guest Jourden Cobb, Barry's little girl. So we're talking about her oldest brother, Paris, who was killed at BJ's during his work hours. And they're trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
How do you pick up the pieces? How do you get up? How do you get up each day and you just go knowing that, you know, this was something very tragic in your life? How do you make it?
Honestly, I hit rock bottom. Like last year, and I had people that walked out of my life. I had people that honestly, like, it seemed like just kind of like gave up on me in a sense. Like I was just too sad for them, and I was just like not the same Jourden. It was so easy though to tell me to come outside and go out and pick up a bottle and be drunk, but it was not like, no, how are you doing? Like not checking up on me for real. And I had to start realizing, like, what am I doing? Like I know my brother passed away, but it's like, are you gonna quit and just cry and be salty and sad and just keep being in your room and drinking, or you gonna get up and keep going and figure out what you can do in honor of your brother? So I had to come to that realization because it was when people started telling me that they was like just, I guess you can say, afraid for my mental, afraid for me in general, and I'm just looking at them with the straightest face, not feeling nothing, not caring what I'm saying.
Did you all get counseling?
Yes. So I already had a counselor, but I didn't really feel like talking did anything, because I felt like the more I talked about it, it was like, unless you've been through it or you lost a family member in the way I did, then it's like it's nothing you can really say to me. Even the people that's around me, like for instance, like my mom or my dad, and that's my dad's son, but it just still, I feel no comfort from talking to him. Like I don't feel no comfort from anything other than the fact that when I got up, I started going to church. And when I started going to church and I started praying more, and I just started praying just for strength and for him to guide me and heal me through this, because nobody else can heal me. Nobody, nothing, not even my therapist. We talking about it, but you can't heal me.
Right.
So
You
it's
just
like,
talk. It's just an outlet to
yeah.
talk to.
So like I love going to counseling. Like I'm so for it, but it's like I had to go to God himself, because I was mad. I was mad when my brother got killed. I was mad when I got to the hospital and they had, like, it's crazy. Like it's just this crazy memory that when we got to the hospital, they was rolling Paris out. So when we was coming in, he was being rolled out. And they was telling us to go to our right, and he was to our left, but they were trying to take him up on the elevator. But you could literally see the doctor hand pumping his heart, like literally through the cover. Like, so we turned around, we just happened to turn, we looked, and we like, is that Paris? Like, so when we said that, like, y'all need to go that way. I'm like, no, bro, it's not my brother, it's that Paris. And then she was like, yes, that's him. When I say the silence covered the room, it was like about 7, 8 of us right there. It was silent. Like, we didn't, it was just too, like, what is happening? Like, Paris is such a stand-up guy, like, no, I'm okay. Like, we knew he wasn't okay when it happened. And to just see him, like, we didn't see his face, but to actually, like, see him being rolled out, and it was nothing that we really could do about it. That was the most heartbreaking. But when I first got to the hospital, and I always believed in God, but when I first got to the hospital, my mom was like, everybody was like, we need to pray. And I couldn't pray. And in that moment, I knew my brother was gone, because I'm such a believer, and I always turn to God in every situation, but I could not pray. And what also made me not pray, too, is when we first got that call, and I asked my dad, I said, have you talked to Paris? He said no. And I knew from there, honestly, that it was worse, because Paris is such, like, he don't want us to worry, let me talk. When my dad said he didn't talk to him, I was like, yeah, this is way worse. So I was mad at God. I was mad at God for a long time. Because I was like, why would you take my brother? But I had to understand that when God is ready to take you, he's ready to take you. But at the same time, the act that happened, that was the devil.
The devil. Yes. And it's hard. I mean, people think that it's easy. And people tell you that, you know, life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and do what you we're here to do, whatever. That all that seems like nonsense when you have a death in a family that's so close.
Yeah.
And it's important that we get help. I mean, you may not want to speak to a therapist for a very long time, but it's okay for, you know, a couple of months until you feel comfortable or you don't want to talk anymore, because sometimes you just get talked out.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to talk about this no more. I don't want to, you know. It's hard. Even when you're at the funeral and people giving their condolences and they're saying, I'm gonna pray for you, or my condolences, and it's like, I was at my mom's funeral. I was just there, and all those people that kept coming up to me, and I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna be okay, and I didn't want to hear that. I was angry.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. You know, it's words can't put that feeling back into you at that time. You're numb.
Yeah, I think it was different. Like how Lauren London said, the front row of the funeral is different. Like I've been to, like, we lost my grandmothers, we done lost my uncles, my dad's brothers. We done been through death recently, like heavy. And even like someone who I was actually talking to, he got killed 6 months before Paris. And then it was just like, I'm like, what is going on? And so when Paris got killed and we had that funeral, and like just one, I'm thinking already, like, this is my dad's other son. My dad had 2 heart attacks, and I had just found out our dad had kidney cancer. And it's crazy because before this happened to Paris, we were actually talking about it, and I'm like, I'm telling Paris out my own mouth, like, you my second dad, so if something happened to dad, I know I got you. This was our last conversation. Really? And he like, yes, and he's like, sis, everybody got a time date. We don't know what it is. We just got to stick together. And I'm on the phone crying because everybody had knew our dad had kidney cancer. I didn't know yet, so I was the last to find out. And so when that happened, it was like crazy. And that was that Tuesday. That was that Tuesday night. And then he got killed that Thursday night. And I was just like, what the heck? So at the funeral, it's like I'm trying to be strong for our dad, because I'm like, our dad, like, I need to. Then I'm like, you know, Paris' mother, I'm trying to be strong for the mother. Then the kids. So I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm like, I can't afford to break down right now, because I need to make sure we all are okay. And so people coming up and hugging. Some of these people I ain't never seen a day in my life. And also, too, my brother was very much real. And so, like, a lot of times when people was coming up, I'm like, did he like you? But I was worried about the wrong things, basically. So I was just like, who are these people? And I was just, because in my head, I had got on a defense mode. Like, it's my brother. Who are you? Like, when people was hugging and, like, kissing him and all kind of stuff. Like, I'm just like, who are y'all? Like, was y'all even around when he was struggling? Was y'all around when he was going through this and that? What was y'all? Now we at a funeral. Here y'all come. So I had a lot of mixed emotions at the funeral. And
you had right. Yeah, Paris was going through some things. So where were they?
He was struggling bad financially. He was struggling mentally. he just had a lot of things that he wanted for himself, and it just seemed like it was kind of like not really playing out like how he wanted it to. And I think what made it harder is because he had, his 5 girls and his 4 girls and his son. So it's like I got to take care of my family, which is why he went to BJ's, because it's like, oh well, it's kind of slowing down at Busy One, and my dad's doing XYZ, so I'm gonna just try to make some extra money somewhere else. And that unfortunately costed him his life, which is still crazy because you wouldn't think that you go to work and you get killed.
No.
Not at, like, unfortunately, like at studios and stuff like that, people could possibly be like, okay, a little bit probably. But at a restaurant,
right,
at your job, big corporation like BJ's, that's not something that you would think that would happen. But it's crazy because 2 weeks before that, he had already told his mother that he thought he was going to get stabbed to death.
Did he really?
Yes. And then, so it's like, you start to think, like, did he already have that feeling? Is that why Paris was so upset, like, his last few days of his life? And then it goes into, like, you got to watch what you say. Like, it's just so many factors. This is just, like, that comes up in my brain all the time. And I'm just like, it's just crazy because when death happens, you can't run from it.
No, you can't. And people say that people know when they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
They have the feeling, they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And things happen
Mm-hmm.
in that same direction. It's like, wow.
He even went back to church a month before, his home church, a month before he passed. And the doctor the surgeon wasn't even supposed to tell us nothing, but she said Paris was praying before he became unconscious and he passed away.
Wow.
But I feel like with the way he got stabbed and how bad it was and how much blood he lost, when we got to the hospital and they had said he passed, I said Paris was holding on for us because it honestly could have been over at that restaurant because of the way he got stabbed, the way he was bleeding out, and they was trying to talk to him, and he's like, I have kids, please don't let me die, and all these things. And he was bleeding out, he went into a heart attack, all kind of stuff, but Paris didn't actually pass away until he got to the hospital. And I feel like he was waiting for us to get there because he was around a bunch of careless people who did not care about him at BJ's.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy to like really think about.
Yeah. Feel free to call in at 513-301-7119 if you'd like to speak to Jourden or need some advice, need some encouragement. Feel free to call in. So around here, Paris was loved by everybody. He always, like you said, had that big smile.
Yeah.
Always willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
I called your dad, I think that morning, and, just for a conversation, and he said, Paris died last night. And I'm like, huh? And he got off the phone, and your mom got on the phone, and she started telling me. I was just like in disbelief. I'm like, how did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I was stunned myself, and I had no words to say because I knew the pain that they was feeling. I knew the pain that everybody was feeling, even the ones you think that could have did more to help, but didn't. But they still had that love for Paris, and it was hard.
I think the hardest part was me and Paris always stuck together. He always protected me. So the hardest part for me was when they said that he passed, it kind of was like a slow motion thing for me. Like they said it, but it felt like slow motion. And all I remember is hearing a bunch of screaming. People start throwing stuff at my nephew. He wasn't there yet. So he was coming up the elevator. When we got off, it was just like, oh my goodness, like. I didn't know. He heard a screaming. Like, he came up during that point. He wasn't there when we first got there. But when he was coming up the elevator and he see everybody screaming and crying, he knew. And the first thing was for us to embrace him. But it was like, it was just so much going on. And then, like, after all the tears and then being exhausted from it, it was like, dang, now we really just go home. And my brother is here with no life in his body. And we just go home now. And that was the hardest thing because I just was like, we really just go home and this is like forever. This is final. Like, I don't know when I'm going to talk to you again. I don't know when I'm going to see you again. I still got my whole life ahead of me, whenever that is. But it's just like, I'm not going to see you again. And that was literally the person I was the closest to. Like, I'm talking about, I hit rock bottom my senior year. Not my senior year, my sophomore year of college, right before COVID. I was suicidal. I was going through a lot. And Paris had reached out to my professors. He found my professors on Facebook. And he was messaging them, and they were like sending it back to me when he passed because the story was so big. They was emailing me, and it was like, your brother was messaging us, you know. And literally, I have screenshots on my phone, and he's just like, I just love my sister. Can you just help pass her? Like, he would do anything for me. Yeah, it was crazy. He showed up to like all my events, even when nobody else would. My brother was struggling, but he had still found a way to give me $20, $30 when I was in school broke, and it was just like, he'll pull up on me, suspended license. Like, he was trying to make a way every time. And I feel like I finally had got to the point where I could start doing for him or like giving back to him. And it was like cut short. And I'm like, dang, this is literally the closest person to me, closest sibling, closest everything, my best friend. He know everything about me. I know everything about him. And it's like gone. And so now I'm just here like, I have this weird thing where people can be trying to be there for me and I don't even want to be cool. I don't only want to be close. I don't want to get cool. I don't want to be close to none of that. Because I'm afraid to say, like, something's going to happen to you. Yeah, it's a mental battle. It's a mental battle every day.
It really is. And he was covered up when you all first seen him, right?
Yeah, so when they wrote him out, you could see it's weird. I couldn't see his face, but I see his face. So he was facing, like, that way. We was facing this way, kind of turned. So his body was that way. And I seen he had on all black. They had a cover on him, and then his head was wrapped up, but you could see, like, his cheeks a little bit. But he got stabbed in his face, too. So it was just, we seen him, but it was, like, it was so quick, and they was trying to, like, get us to move because they didn't want us to see him like that because it was so gruesome. Yeah, that moment was all that, like, honestly, just still feel like a movie. It feels like a movie. It feels like we're in a movie. Who walks around and just gets stabbed to death the way he did at a restaurant? It just, like, being interviewed. We were interviewed that following, like, I don't even know if it was that following week we were being interviewed, like, a few days after Paris passed. And we were being asked these questions to describe him and all these things. And, you know, everybody's like, y'all look so good on the interview. Y'all talking so well. The whole time we still in shock. I still can't believe I was on the news. Why am I on the news? But it's crazy because in the same conversation that me and Paris had, he was like, okay, I'm going to go get it. I need another job. I don't like BJ's. It's weird in here. The vibe is off. And I'm like, when you start working at BJ's, like, why? He's like, I need some extra money, but it's weird in there. I don't like them. Da-da-da. Wow. And I'm like, it's crazy how our intuition speaks to us. But again, it's to that point, you can't run from death. When it's your time, even though some things be the acts of the devil, when it's your time and God is ready for you, like, you can't run from it. So it's like we can say, oh, he should have, or oh, I wish, but unfortunately it played out how it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. And that's the most hurtful part about his death is the way it happened.
Yeah, you would think that they would clean him up and at least let y'all say goodbye. Mm-hmm. They just wrote him away. Yeah,
wrote him away, but they never really went into, like, deep detail how Paris had got stabbed. So us, like, it was easy for us to be like, well, can we see him? But the way Paris was stabbed, it was not even no fixing him up for us to see him. Like, he was got in the face, he was got in the back part of his head, his fingers, his chest, his stomach, his back. Yeah, like, it was bad. Wow. So honestly, us seeing him like that,
just what? That was a monster.
Yeah, it was demonic.
A monster. I thought he was just stabbed in his neck.
Mm-mm. He was stabbed in his neck. He was stabbed on the side of his face. Half his ear was cut off. The back part of his head, because you can tell he was trying to fight back. So his back part of his head, his back, his chest. He got on his arm. Like, it's bad. Fingertips. Certain things we could still see, like, when we view him at the funeral home. But it was bad.
Jesus.
So he was, yeah, looking back, it was like, dang, I want to see my brother, but it wasn't something that you would really want to see. So, yeah, it's just more so, like, as far as now, that's why it's a spiritual warfare, honestly, I hear, and people are honestly crashing out and going crazy. And so you just have to stay prayed up, and that's honestly the main thing that's getting me through waking up every day to even keep pushing for my brother. Like me, if you would ask me if I would be getting my PhD right now at 23, the answer would have been no a couple years ago. Because school, I love school, but I'm supposed to be in law school right now. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just get my bachelor's and go to law school. But then it's like, nah, you need to become that doctor. You need to be writing stuff. You need to have the ability to do XYZ for your brother, that even if they try to fail your brother on this case, that you can have somebody pick that back up when you actually that attorney. So it's like I had to change my way of thinking, because it's like I got way too much power. Like I think we'd be afraid of our own success, so we like to brush over like our accomplishments. But it's like, Jourden, you have way too much power even right now that you can't do that. You can't sit down and quit and crash out and be like everybody else. If this your brother and you care about your brother the way he do, and he got his kids and your dad, and you want to make people proud, but outside of making people proud, make yourself proud and only seek validation from God, then you need to do what you need to do and pray for discernment. Ask God to remove those people that's not really for you. Get out your head and stop overthinking. Write stuff down and make it happen.
Your circle gets smaller, doesn't it?
Oh, it's small.
Yeah.
But I'm happier that way.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when I was doing the drinking and I'm going out and I'm partying with over 100 and some people, they ain't care about me. And my feelings was so hurt when I was, like, I guess you could say losing people. It's never my loss. But it's just like, when those people was going away and like the smoke start clearing, it's like, I look at you and you still in the club drinking, no money. And here I am still over here, still doing the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with going out but the way you do it.
Right.
But because I was sad, you want to crap on me. Because you thought I was low, you want to crap on me. You want to act fake stump on me. Like, people was really mistreating me. It was crazy. That was mistreating me bad. And I was so, I don't want to say weak, but I felt so weak that it was like, I didn't know. I just cried. Like, I cried.
What is wrong with people?
Literally, but now, approaching me now is way different than approaching me a year ago. Approaching me now, you can't even get a conversation out of me. And I forgive you, but stay away from me. Now your conversation is seeing me when I'm still fighting for this. Now the conversation is you seeing me while I'm better in my life and you still where you at. And it's no animosity. It's not even no hate, no beef. But you can stay right there, but I'm going to keep elevating.
That's right.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like with a lot of things with my brother passing, it taught me a lot that I had to, I guess you can say, how they say everything is a lesson. It's a lesson within something, even if it hurts. But I feel like that lesson was, when my brother passed, is one, change your circle, change your focus, and get up.
Oh, yes.
And understand that your testimony can help somebody else. Like, I've noticed, even like it's been placed on my heart, like through God, just to talk lately. Like, and there's so many people like, how you even talking to me, pouring into me, and this and that happened to you. And it's like, you got to think outside yourself. It's not just about me. It's not just about you. But you never know who you can help. And it took a lot of growing to even get there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's definitely a process. Not all days. It's like smiles.
It's definitely a process, but I gotta give it up to you, sister. At 23 years old, you got a head on your shoulder and a mind, And unfortunately, Paris is no longer with us, but maybe he was opening doors for you.
He's definitely more powerful to me in a spiritual than he was here. I feel like things just been moving around. Like, literally, like, I don't know how deep everybody else be thinking, but our dad had kidney cancer. He had 2 heart attacks. His surgery date was the day before Paris' birthday.
Yep.
Paris lost his life. Our dad gained more life. And then the next day, he's outside the hospital letting balloons go for his son when he's supposed to be on bed rest, not even walking. It just be things like that. Like, I just think I don't want to say I think too deep into things, but I look at things bigger than what most people might look at it. Yeah. And I just feel like what he did here, he showed everybody that love. He showed everybody what type of person he was. And that's something we can hold on to forever and learn from it and grow from it. But it's like also, too, I feel like he's still moving mountains even more now. Well, he's with God wherever he is.
Yeah. You believe he's with God?
Oh, yes. My brother was a nice person. I was a hothead.
He went back to church.
Yeah, he did. And he made sure before he went up out of here, he was praying. He wasn't an evil person. I really feel like my brother is with God and win. But when I see him again, this is just some dark humor. When I see him again, we need to talk, because leaving me down here with his kids and these people is insane. We're supposed to be living our lives. I just reached the age that they was when I was coming around them. Yeah, we're supposed to be living our lives together. I don't know what he had going on. I know this was not the plan, and I know it's not his fault, but we need to talk when I see him again. I don't care if we're two beans in the sky. I don't care. He need to find me, and we need to have a conversation. Because this is crazy. This is crazy. He know his sister is sensitive. This is really crazy.
He's gonna be there with big open arms, waiting for you, Jordan.
I hope so.
You know.
Now if I live to 100, that's a long time. Man.
It's okay. He's still gonna be there, waiting for his sister. And he's gonna apologize and let you know it was not his fault.
For sure. I know.
It was not his fault. You know, workplace violence. We got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get a law, a bill
Mm-hmm.
passed. Because this can't happen. This cannot continue to happen.
Yeah.
And the way that the management operated in that situation.
They opened their doors the next morning, did not close. The health people didn't come out. It was blood still all over the kitchen. Like coworkers were saying, it was still blood everywhere. In the kitchen, on the carpet, and everywhere. And they were serving food, health hazard. They did not care when the guy called to, you know, let us know what happened. Like, he was like, I kept my doors open, but I just didn't think nothing of it. You had somebody who just started working from you, who lost their life under your care, and you didn't think nothing of it. It's always about the money. Well, okay, let it be always about the money. We're going to make sure that his kids is set for the rest of their life.
Yes.
And now BJ's can be a Paris Foundation.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I have a lot of big thoughts about it. That's why I'm just constantly writing stuff down, and I've been praying over it because I'm just like, I need strength from God to keep going and to do certain things because it is painful.
Yes.
But I noticed talking about it more, like being asked questions about him, is getting a little easier.
Well, I'm glad that I could be of some comfort to you. You know, I love the family and known your dad for a very long time. Very long time. And I was crushed, you know, hearing him say that to me on that phone that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, how could somebody be so awful?
Insensitive. It was no light. It was no soul in his life. When we first seen the picture, first of all, I thought it was some old man. I don't know who I thought it was. I'm just like, who is this guy? And when I seen him, I'm like, first of all, he looks crazy. But when I found out he was only 18, it was just like, my brother done grew up around people, been in the hood, been all over all these different places, and nobody even never messed with him, you know? And he's always, you know, just been a nice person, but he always defended himself. So I know that was scary for him, always being the one to defend himself and be able to make it out okay. That he knew, I feel like the dude, he knew that he had to get Paris from behind.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I'm sure my brother was probably happy to get off work, had his steak waiting for him, all kind of stuff, had his music in his ears because he be in a dishwasher. Paris, every time he was in a dishwasher somewhere, he had music in his ears. So I'm sure he didn't even see the guy coming. And that's the scariest part. Like, it affects me when I go to work. You know, I'm watching who coming behind me. And it's just like, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we live in that type of world because I do the same thing. I'm looking, and
but I feel like it's worse now with the way he was killed. But it's like people will look at me like, oh, maybe she over exaggerating. I'm like, but you don't got my lifestyle. That's what I be saying. Like, talking to people don't help me because unless you've been through it or you understand it, or it's happening in your family, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. You're gonna try to give me advice that I don't want to hear. And before it gets to that point where I let you have it, just leave me alone.
Yeah. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They don't know where you've been through. They don't know where you. They just know that you ain't in that same circle.
Right.
With them partying with the 100 people, and it's still in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You know. We had a time. Oh, I'm sorry. we could go on. So remember, y'all, August 11th is Paris Day. We're going to get a proclamation done for that. We're going to try to set up a route that we can march through, close off some streets downtown, and then whatever you guys want to do, a concert or whatever, we're going to do it August 11th. We guarantee you.
Mhm.
How can they reach you, Jordan?
You guys can reach me. I ain't gonna say my number because I ain't gonna say y'all don't need my number. No, but y'all can reach. I'm on Instagram, Smiley45. My Facebook is Jourden Jourden Cobb Cobb. And then busyoneentertainment.com is where we'll be posting updates if you don't follow my social media accounts. But we will make sure that everybody really know what's going on. But outside of August 11th, my brother's birthday is September 7th. So that will be really a celebration of life. But we just want to also to reroute the outlook of August 11th. We don't want to celebrate it as a day, death day, a sad day, but more so a remembrance of him in hopes of getting justice. And we will get justice.
Yes.
So justice for Paris disputes. Long live my brother.
Long live Paris. Thank y'all for tuning in to Busy One Radio, the Lady Devine Show. Make sure y'all look us up on Busy One Entertainment. Subscribe. We have a lot of things on there. We'll have Paris his merch out there, as well as other things. But thank y'all for tuning in. Be safe out there, y'all. Stay warm. Say no to violence.
And keep going. Keep going. If you learn anything from me today, keep going. Don't give up.
Ooh, keep going.
Tell your story. You don't know what it's, never know who you help. And keep God first. Y'all gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Keep God first. Yes. Our young people need to know God. And they don't have a clue. Because somehow through these all our ancestors it's gotten lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very sad.
But and guess what? Oh, we do gotta go. But that's why all of Paris kids, my nieces and my nephew, just joined my church on Sunday. I took them to church for the first time on Sunday. And their auntie bawled her eyes out. But they all joined the church with me on Sunday. So I will be taking them every Sunday.
And what church was that?
Agape Love Ministries.
Okay. All right.
So y'all be safe.
You're a good auntie.
Yeah.
You took them to church.
Oh yeah, because if I'm gonna cry, come cry with me.
But we love you, Jordan, and I appreciate you coming in on my show. And always, if you need me, call me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right,
see y'all next week.
Bye-bye. Right, y'all. I can't get my phone.